Alright folks, the HBO show Winning Time has just finished up its first season. Let's talk about it. Alright folks, so if you're watching this video, it's either because one, you know of the show, you've seen it, or potentially you're curious about it, because this is a show that, despite being HBO, despite seeming like something that should be popular, it really has not gained a lot of steam, which is disappointing. So I hope to prove to you in this video, if you haven't seen it, that maybe you should check it out. First, let's get into why I even know the show. if you haven't seen the show, if you're watching this video now, I probably would have been in your boat if not for one key thing, and that was Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham was originally cast. I remember I follow this Twitter account that gives me film news, and I remember seeing that he was originally cast to play Larry Bird in an HBO show about the Lakers dynasty, and so that really set off my hype for it. I followed the show non-stop until then. I looked at every single detail, and then eventually, of course, he did not end up playing Larry Bird. He had to drop out of that, so that's disappointing. I think that would have been still pretty cool to see, but my hype for the show remained. It did its job on me, and of course I checked it out the day it came out. Even I didn't even know what month or day it was coming out until a month before it came out, which was early March, mid-March. So I didn't know the date until February, mid-February. So the marketing could definitely be a reason why most people are not aware of this show. That's probably the main factor, actually. But I've been hyped from the show for the start, and I'm pleased to say, while it wasn't what I expected, it exceeded my hype. First, I want to get into, I think I should just get this out the way, because the greatest thing about this show is, in my opinion, the acting, the performances, because you have a hell of an ensemble here. It is, of course, about the Lakers as a team, and about their rise and growing success. The rise of the Lakers dynasty is sort of the subtitle of the show, and as a result, you've got a lot of key figures in basketball history that you need to show here. You've got people like Jerry West, who was coach of the Lakers, who again sort of steps back from that role. You've got Pat Riley, former basketball player turned commentator turned coach. You've got the coach of the teams. People that aren't necessarily famous, but so many characters is the point. You've got, how did I even forget to mention the players themselves? You've got Kareem, you've got Magic, of course. You've got Larry Bird, and so the real key here are the so many influential people that make up this narrative, and it is not an easy task to first of all write these characters, which I'm going to get into because people have perceptions of them, and then secondly to play them. And I was absolutely astounded by the talent of this ensemble. Whoever is the casting director for Winning Time deserves perhaps the greatest raise of all time, because they nailed it on every single front. There's not a bad performance in Winning Time, and just about every performance are some of the greatest I've ever seen in television. Some remarkable performances. I was blown away week after week after week watching what I was seeing. They were so good. I said this in my ARC video a month ago now. You can check that up there. It's an amalgamation of reviews, and I did half of Winning Time Season 1 in that video. But anyway, they were so good that I had to add Bob categories for television acting. Okay, Bob, if you don't know what it is the award show I put on. I get to award things achievements in filmmaking that I think should be recognized and called attention to. And the performances were so good that I could not stop myself from adding acting categories. So the Bobs might be a little longer upcoming, but these performances are remarkable. I want to shout out particularly Adrian Brody's a great actor. He's a great Pat Riley. You've got Solomon Hughes as Kareem, really shines, especially in one episode. I forget which one, but there's an episode sort of dedicated to him. It might be episode 5 or 4, I think, dedicated to him. Quincy Isaiah as Magic Johnson. Oh my God, this guy is living and breathing Magic Johnson's, or at least the show's version of him. The smile, the charm. This guy is central to it all. John C. Reilly's good. It didn't blow me away, but he's certainly a good performance. Who else? Jason Clarke as Jerry West is just remarkable. He is insane in every single way. He is giving it all to his performance. I think I said Tracy Letts, Jason Segel. The guy Solomon Hughes plays Kareem, really stoic, and then he sort of softens up as the show goes on. You've got Sally Field playing John C. Reilly, Dr. Buss's mom. I forget the girl who plays his daughter, but she's also very good. Claire Rothman, the girl who plays Claire Rothman, is incredible. All around, remarkable performances, the greatest part of the show, and really why I tuned in week after week was to see just how they would outdo themselves every single week. Great performances. And then I want to get, because the performances doesn't just make a show, and you need good writing to back up good performances, and my God, does this show have it. This show has some remarkable writing. The story itself does seem like an interesting one. I wasn't too familiar with it, and they definitely took some dramatic liberty, I've heard, but they do so to enhance the story in incredible ways. The story is one of the most interesting I have ever heard. I love it. It's not just like a typical sports story. It uses its 10-episode format to really dive into every character, to so many aspects of their lives. That actually even becomes a problem eventually. It's so burdened with so many character struggles that it's tough to balance them all, especially like as you get closer to the end of the season when all these storylines are boiling. They're ready to climax. It just feels, like, oh, you're kind of taken away from this one by showing this one right now. But if that's your problem, if like all of your intriguing storylines are just climaxing at the same time, that's a pretty good problem to have, I'll say. They're certainly worse. So the writing is remarkable. The way they dramatize this already spectacular story is incredible. And they really just managed to create such an intriguing story here with Winning Time. I want to talk about the style, and this sort of goes hand in hand with Adam McKay, who produced the show, and he was also, I think he directed episode 1. And Adam McKay is a director I've been familiar with for a while. I like his writing. I think he's a really good writer. But over time, his directing has sort of faded on me. I don't really love the style as much, and I think Winning Time trips up a bit in its style, and I definitely noticed that at the beginning of the season. It actually bothered me. Like episode 1, episode 2, I was watching, and I really didn't know if I wanted to continue, but I'm very glad I did, because it stopped really affecting me after a while. The writing just got so good, and the performance is just insane. But you've got, and it also depends on who directed each episode, but you've got a 70s sort of filter. They really try to nail a 70s aesthetic, and then the editing at times is super overbearing. It works in some scenes, not quite in others, and it just feels like it's trying to do too much for its own good. It's not. Sometimes it's effective. Adam McKay, it's really, really hit or miss for me. And there are some things that I enjoyed in the editing, in the style, in the way scenes are shot, or the way a scene plays out, and then just some ridiculously absurd stuff that's hard to get around, and it sort of kills the enjoyment just in that moment. So just ease up on the style a little bit, on the overbearing nature of the style. Give the writing a bit more room, give everything else a bit more room, and I think you've got an S-tier show on your hands. So that is the one thing, my really main complaint there, is just the style can be very overbearing at times, and that really made it hard for me to get into it at the start. And if you do end up watching the show, I hope you will forgive that style if it bothers you too, just for a bit, because I promise you it gets real good. So folks, and then actually I thought this was a limited series. I thought this was just a one-season thing, and I was very excited the whole time. I was like, wow, this is incredible. I'm really glad that we've been blessed with a limited series like this. But then we get to the end. They've been sort of setting up the seeds for stuff to continue, and then my episode 10 finish, I'm like, I don't know that I really like that. I still don't love episode 10 as a finale, just because, again, sort of what I was talking about, all the climaxes boil, but it left a lot of things in really weird places. So I was like, is this really how they're going to end it? But then my father, who informed me, I had recommended the show to him and he liked it a lot, he had informed me that they are doing a season 2. And I was so thrilled, because I absolutely love this show. I hope my passion has been evident throughout this video. I think there's so much more that they can continue to do with this story. Obviously, continue to develop the Lakers. They've built stuff that will continue on in future seasons. I love this cast. I want to see them all return. I want to see new faces. I want to see... bring the casting director back, please, because this person knows what they are doing. But Winning Time Season 2 is something that I now can look forward to. I am so incredibly happy with how Season 1 played out. I'm going to have to give Winning Time Season 1 an undeniable A. An undeniable A. It is an incredible show. I would highly recommend it to you. It's not everyone's cup of tea for sure, but try it out. It's only 10 episodes right now. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's how it goes. So please, Winning Time is incredible. An A. Alright folks, that's my review of HBO's Winning Time. I'm very glad that it exceeded my expectations. I hope you enjoy it if you check it out. And I really do want to sort of build the hype for this one because it's not one I hear a lot being talked about. I really wish it were in the discussion a bit more of a popular show. But anyways, I've been Eating Peace Reviews. You've been amazing. I am looking forward to Winning Time Season 2. It'll probably be a while, but I'm excited. Folks, I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.